Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that seems to be affecting a lot of people in the self-publishing community. That is the frequent blocking of books by Amazon KDP. Hello home bosses, I'm Nuria Corby from thehomeboss.com. Welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, I create videos teaching people how to create an income from home through self-publishing. Why are so many people reporting that their books are being blocked? This must be so frustrating for people, especially if they are beginners and you've just created your book, you're publishing it on Amazon, and they decide to block it. And I found that sometimes it's not very clear to people why their books are being blocked. But when I dig deeper and have a look at those books, I usually can see why Amazon has taken that decision and blocked those books. So today I'm going to talk to you about the possible reasons, and let's dive in and take a look. So let's start by understanding what's happening. Recently, I've seen a noticeable increase in the number of books being blocked on Amazon KDP. Authors are finding their submissions rejected or even having their existing listings removed. And this surge has left many in the self-publishing community puzzled and frustrated. But what exactly is causing these blocks? So there are several types of blocks that you might encounter on KDP. First of all, it could be due to copyright issues. This occurs when you use material in your book that you don't have the rights to. Amazon is really strict about copyright laws to protect intellectual property. The second reason is content policy violations. These violations happen when your book's content, title, or keywords go against KDP's content guidelines. This could include offensive content, misleading titles, or inappropriate keywords, and we'll talk about this in a minute. The third reason is quality standards. Amazon also blocks books that don't meet their quality standards. This includes issues like poor formatting, low-resolution images, or excessive spelling and grammatical errors. So let's talk about them individually. One of the most common reasons for a block is copyright infringement. If you use text, images, or any other content that you do not own or have not been licensed to use, Amazon will block your book. It's essential to ensure that everything in your book is either your original work or properly licensed. This protects both you and the original creators. I see that quite often, that people use titles or images or things in their books that are not created by themselves. They've copied it from somebody else. And I see that very often with people that have just started creating books on Amazon KDP. And I've noticed a real increase in people who are creating non-fiction books. So what I've noticed that is happening quite a lot is because of things like ChatGPT and all of the AI text generators, people are copying books that are already out there. So they're taking books that are quite well known and they are asking ChatGPT or some other AI to create a similar book, to rewrite that book. They're taking the topic of that book and then making it their own. And that is not really a good way to create a book. If you're going to write a book, you can use AI to structure your book or to give you ideas, but you should never really use it to write your book. And this is how these things happen. I don't know who has been teaching them, because I've seen a lot of new YouTube channels that are springing up at the moment and that are teaching the wrong things to do on Amazon KDP. And it could be because somebody has brought out a video teaching this. I'm not quite sure, but I've just seen an increase in these types of books. They are people that are writing non-fiction books on subjects that they don't really understand or know much about, but they are getting AI to create them for them. And that's not really how you would write a book. That's not really the right thing to do, because you're creating books that somebody else has already spoken about. They are famous books, they are well-known books, and they're using the same titles, and that is really not the right way to do that. That is just one of the things I've noticed. There are lots of other ways that people are infringing on copyright. but it's something that I've noticed recently happening. So I don't know if you've seen this as well. Let me know if you have, but it's something that has caught my attention. And this is not how you want to create your books. Write about things that you understand, write about things that you are passionate about and that you have some knowledge on, and make it your own. And that is the best way to create a non-fiction book. The other thing I mentioned earlier is content policy violations. Amazon has strict guidelines about what content is acceptable on their platform. This includes avoiding offensive content, ensuring your titles and keywords are not misleading, and avoiding any inappropriate material. Violating these guidelines can lead to your book being blocked. Always review Amazon's content policies before publishing. And this is a really important point because, again, I've seen this happening very often with people who are just starting on Amazon. They've watched some videos about how easy it is to create books for Amazon KDP, and you really need to read all the guidelines and really familiarize yourself with what is allowed and what isn't allowed on Amazon. Don't just go by a YouTube video that you've watched on YouTube and then create your book. You really need to learn much more about Amazon KDP and what is allowed and what isn't allowed. A lot of the questions I've been getting about why books have been blocked, I've had lots of emails from people saying my book has been blocked, and when I look at the kind of books they are creating, very often their titles are totally wrong. You don't create titles in the way that they've created them. For example, they've created a book titled Recipe Book for Fat People, and that is infringing on two things, because first of all, it's kind of offensive to say for fat people. That's one violation, but it's also not how a title should be structured. You wouldn't be calling a book Recipe Book for Fat People, because that's not a title, that's a description. That's not how you would structure a title. It would be much better to call it My Diet Journey, My Way to Healthy Eating, something like that. You don't really call the book what it is. You don't describe the book in the title. And I've got videos on how to structure your titles, so if you have any questions on that, you can watch them. And I might actually make some more videos about that, because I still see people making a lot of mistakes how they structure their titles. But that is also one of the reasons why Amazon can block a book. Don't put things in your title that are really a description of the book rather than the title of the book. I've seen people putting things like the page number in their title or the size of the book in their title. That is all not allowed. And the other reason books are being blocked are quality issues. So another major reason for books being blocked is that some people have spelling mistakes. They have the wrong capitalization in their titles. They may have poor book formatting. They may use low resolution images. They might have numerous spelling and grammatical errors. All of that is reasons for Amazon to block your book. So it's really crucial to thoroughly proofread and format your book to meet the quality standards. So let's move on to some recent changes in KDP policies. Amazon has updated its policies to be more stringent, to be more strict about what they allow on their platform. And these updates are designed to protect the integrity of the marketplace and ensure that high quality content is being published. The problem is Amazon doesn't always make it clear. So you really have to make sure that you keep up to date with Amazon's guidelines. Make sure that you check whether there's any new guidelines or new policies. And a good way to do that is to go on your Amazon dashboard and just have a look there to see what is new. But you can also follow YouTube channels that are very informative about this. So one of them is Dale L. Roberts. He's very good. Kindlepreneur is another really good channel that keeps you informed. And my friend Keith Wheeler, he has a channel called Keith Wheeler Books, and they are all really good sources of information. that is usually a very good way to get information on any Amazon changes. With these updates, Amazon has also become stricter in enforcing these policies. They are now more vigilant in reviewing submissions and quicker to block books that don't meet their standards. I'm sure this is one of the reasons why it seems like they're blocking more books. It's just that they have become stricter enforcing their rules. So this increased enforcement is a significant reason why more books are being blocked recently. And I don't know if you know, but one of my books was blocked as well, The Homeboss Toolkit, Branding for Self-Publishers. So that one was blocked because I used the word toolkit in the title. And Amazon thought it was a confusing experience, a confusing customer experience, because a toolkit is a toolkit, and it didn't really understand why I was calling my book a toolkit. And what I did is I contacted Amazon on the chat feature, and I spoke to a really kind person who I was able to explain why I called my book The Homeboss Toolkit. And they unblocked my book because they could see that it was a valid word to use. But sometimes Amazon's bots can pick up your book and block it. So it's always a good idea to contact them and first of all find out why it has been blocked, because it's not always very clear. And second, because you can then explain if you still think that your book has been blocked in error, you can then argue your point and get it unblocked. But in most cases, I do have to say, when I see the kind of books that are being blocked, in most cases I have to agree with Amazon, because they have usually gone against Amazon's regulations and against their guidelines. So make sure that you understand why your book has been blocked. And if you still think that it's an error, then you can talk to Amazon. So how can you avoid getting your book blocked? First and foremost, do your research. Ensure that all materials used in your book are copyright free or properly licensed. Familiarize yourself with KDP's content guidelines to ensure that you're not inadvertently violating any rules. And next, focus on quality control. Before you submit your book, thoroughly edit and proofread it. Check for any formatting issues and ensure that all images are of high resolution. Taking the time to polish your book can save you from getting blocked. So, for example, capitalization of titles, spelling mistakes, mentioning descriptions that don't belong in a title, all of those things are reasons for your books being blocked. So make sure that you are capitalizing your titles correctly, that you don't have any spelling mistakes, and don't mention any descriptions that don't belong in a title. So you can check out lessons how to structure a title, and there are some terrible examples being taught on YouTube. So I've seen so many examples of people teaching the wrong things, so make sure that you double check that what you're hearing in any videos is the correct thing. And I say all the time, please also double check that what I'm telling you is correct, because I could make a mistake. And we just make videos to help people, but we are not KDP. We don't always know everything. So it's a good idea to check with KDP themselves. They are the only resource that you can 100% trust that they're telling you the right thing. So make sure that you contact them if you are in any doubt whatsoever. Contact them and ask them any questions that you might have. Another thing that you should do to avoid your book getting blocked is originality. Originality is key. Create unique and original content for your books. This is especially important for low content books like journals or planners, because unique designs and content will not only help you avoid blocks, but also attract more buyers. So AI has caused people to publish books they don't know anything about, and I mainly blame certain YouTubers for teaching easy money making ways, and one of them is using AI to write your books. And for me, that is really a big mistake. You can use AI to help you, but you shouldn't use it to just write your book, because AI is not always accurate. It makes mistakes. And if you don't know what the subject is about, for example, I've seen people creating books that make medical claims. For example, they teach about different yoga poses because they've let AI write their book on that subject. And you really need to be careful with that. If you're not knowledgeable in a subject, don't write a book about it. Research the subject really thoroughly and then write it in your own words. Get AI to help you, but don't let AI write your book for you and provide the knowledge for you, because there are still many errors in AI, and in my opinion, it's not a really good way to create your books. But you can, of course, use it to help you structure your book. I use it for that, and I use it to come up with ideas, but write the text yourself and write in subjects that you know something about and that you're passionate about. There is no point in writing a book on a specific diet if you're not a doctor that knows about that diet. There's no point in writing a book about how to help arthritis if you're not suffering from arthritis and you're writing from a personal experience point of view and you're writing about cures or anything like that. Your book will get blocked, because if you're not an authority in your field and you're writing a book about something that you need to be an authority about, Amazon can quickly pick that up and will block your book. It's not ethical to do that either. So stay away from anything or anybody that teaches how to make money quickly by using AI to write medical books or any books that are offering legal advice. Anything like that should not really be something you write about if you're not an authority in that field. Lastly, be mindful of your keywords and metadata. Use keywords that actually describe your book without being misleading. Avoid stuffing keywords into your title or description, as this can be seen as spammy and result in a block. So there are new keyword rules as well on Amazon. I will leave a link to the page where Amazon describes how you make your books more discoverable with keywords, and it really explains what you should and shouldn't do. It tells you the keywords to avoid, and it also tells you the useful keyword types that you can use. And there have been some changes recently as well to this, so you really need to make sure that you follow those guidelines. There are 3 new rules that have been added. One of them is avoiding using keywords already in your book's categories. So make sure that if you have your book in a certain category, don't use those keywords as well in your 7 keyword slots. Do not use brand names that you don't own the rights to, so you can't use them in your 7 keyword slots either. You can use brand names in Amazon ads, but you can't use them as keywords. And also avoid HTML code in KDP keyword boxes due to technical issues. That one I think would be quite obvious, but the other 2, I know that people are still making those mistakes. And go through the guidelines for the keywords. Guidelines for the metadata is avoid duplicating information already in your book's metadata, such as titles and contributors. Do not repeat words already mentioned in your book's categories. Also, do not make subjective claims about quality or time-sensitive statements in your keywords. So don't call your book the best planner or fantastic planner, something like that. And avoid including information to most items in the category like book or audiobook. So don't put audiobook in the keywords because your book is already in the book category, so you don't need to say that it is a book. So Amazon's algorithm automatically accounts for spelling errors, for plurals and capitalization. So there's no need to include these variations in your keywords. And it goes without saying, do not use trademarked brand names or Amazon program names in your keywords. So those are a few of the changes that Amazon has recently made to their keyword requirements. So make sure that you read through them. I will leave a link to that page under this video. So what can you do if your book has been blocked? What are the kind of steps that you can take? If your book does get blocked, the first step is to carefully read the notification from KDP. This notification will typically provide the reason for the block and give you some guidance on what needs to be corrected. I sometimes see that people don't really read it and don't follow the instructions given. But saying that, sometimes it isn't very clear what you've done wrong. Sometimes I can see the point when people say, I don't know what I've done wrong. Sometimes it's not very clear. And in that case, I would definitely contact Amazon and ask them to clarify it for you. So the next thing you can do is also you can appeal the block if you believe it was a mistake. The appeal process usually involves contacting KDP support like I did. When my book got blocked, I contacted them on their chat feature and then provide any necessary information or corrections. And make sure you're being polite and clear in your communication to increase the chances of a successful appeal. And finally, what you can do is to address the issues that led to the block. Make the necessary corrections, whether it's fixing a formatting issue, changing keywords, or replacing copyrighted material. Once you've made the corrections, you can resubmit your book for a review. So just to sum up everything, we've discussed the recent increase in book blocks on Amazon KDP, the common reasons for these blocks, and how you can avoid them. And I've also covered the steps to take if your book gets blocked and recent changes in KDP policies. And hopefully this has helped you a little bit. And if you haven't had your book blocked, then you're obviously doing all the right things already. But I know that a lot of people are having their books blocked. I had my book blocked as well, and it was an error. So sometimes it is an error, and Amazon are being very super careful about what they allow on Amazon, and you can talk to them and hopefully they will unblock it. But I've also seen a lot of people making really big mistakes in their books. So I'm hoping this video helps them to see that they can correct that and publish their next book without the fear of having it blocked. So I hope this video has made things a little bit clearer for you and has given you some practical tips to avoid this happening to your work. Remember, the key is to stay informed, follow KDP guidelines carefully, and always prioritize quality in your content. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you didn't like it, send it to someone you want to annoy. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tips and updates on self-publishing. I'd love to hear about your experience with KDP blocks. Have any of your books been blocked? And do you know why? And how did you deal with it? I'd really be interested. Let's help each other out. So thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye-bye.